I haven't been doing a lot of work on the trailer recently. It's more of trying to figure out what I need for the solar, getting that all together, being able to afford it. But I've got it all now, and today we're going to be putting the solar panels on the roof. I'll be showing you what I have for my solar setup for like the breaker box and the charge controller and the battery and how all that fits together. It's gotten a bit chilly out here now, but it's not too bad. We're gonna be still able to get it done. One of the things that I have done with the trailer though is I installed the jacks on the back door so that I can fold it down and have a deck. So I installed these two jacks on the back here. So you just pull down and they fold out just like that. You can adjust how high or low they are in case like the ground is higher or lower. And then they just fold right back up when you're not using them. Just like that. So this is the solar setup that I decided to go with. I researched it a bunch, saw what other people were using, kind of put together my own, what I thought I needed. So I got this board from the wood that I took off the walls, and it already had this hole in it from where one of the vents in the wall was. So I was able to use that for where my wires are going to come through the wall. Just cleaned it up, stained it, sealed it, and used that as like my electrical panel here. So the wires are going to come through here from the solar panels, from my lights, any of the wires that I'm running are going to come through this hole right here. They're going to go into this breaker box right here, first of all, so that if I ever need to work on any of this or I need to work on the solar panels, all I have to do is flip the switch off and then I'm good to go. I can work on anything. The power from the solar panels aren't going to be coming into my system. It saves me from having to like take the wires out over and over again, so that I'm not putting wear and tear on my system. So the wires are going to come through here from my solar. They're going to go into this breaker box. From the breaker box, they're going to go into my Rover charge controller. This is a 20 amp charge controller from Renogy. I purchased the premium kit from Renogy. It came with 200-watt solar panels, this charge controller, the fuse, and all like the wiring that I would need for my system. I did purchase a third solar panel because it'll fit on my roof, and I wanted a little bit more power. Later I can add a fourth one if I feel like I need it, but I thought 3 starting out would be good for me. I purchased this Renogy 200-watt battery. You can do 100-watt batteries and put them all together. I decided I was just going to get the 200-watt right off the bat, and I think that should be good for me for now. You can go like higher price batteries. Eventually I'll probably upgrade, but for right now I think this will be good for me. It's very heavy, so that was a little bit of a beast to get in here, but now that it's here, it's not going anywhere. So it's going to come in to my charge controller here, and then I've got this little Bluetooth device right here. That's going to tell me how much power is coming in through here. I can use an app on my phone and it'll tell me how much power I'm getting, how much power I'm using through that little Bluetooth device, so that's pretty cool. It also has a battery temp control or temp reader right here. So that gets plugged into the charge controller, and then you put it on your battery. So that'll also tell me on the app if my battery is getting really hot or what's going on there. Once that power goes into this charge controller, it's going to then go into my positive bus bar and my negative bus bar. This just kind of helps like the system run better, I guess. You can run a couple different wires off of these instead of trying to put everything on your positive and negative of your battery. You kind of have these little like stations right here. So it's going to go into the positive bus bar and then into my fuse right here. So if there's any issues with the system, that fuse will blow and not mess with my system. And then from that fuse, it's going to go into the positive of the battery. And then the same with the negative. It's going to go negative bus bar, negative side of my battery. I also have these two wires here. This is my fuse box. So all my lights, my fans, any outlets I install, those are going to go here to this fuse box. So I have to connect the fuse box here, the positive side, and then the bottom here is going to be the negative side. So I just have to get some connectors, install those later, and so that'll connect to my fuse box. Took a piece of rubber hose and I split it and put it around this hole here, just to make sure that my wires aren't going to be getting rubbed while I'm driving or just having a lot of use. I'm going to protect those wires, make sure there's not any damage to them. I did have to purchase some extra positive and negative cables that didn't come with my Renogy package because I added these bus bars here, so I had to get some extra wiring to connect all of these together. So once I get all the insulation put in my walls, I can take this and attach it to the wall, and that'll stay right back here underneath like my bed area. This battery is going to be right next to it, so it'll kind of create some space away from all my electrical. I can make kind of like an area to put maybe like a plastic bin so I can hold my stuff in the bin, and that'll slide in right next to the battery, and then the battery will keep kind of everything away from the electrical system. But it'll be easy to access if I need to. I can just pull that bin out, and then I'll have the space to be able to work on my system if I need to. Want to give yourself more than you're gonna need just in case you mess it up, which I kind of did before, so I got excited and I cut it short. I cut it right to the amount that I needed, and it was my first time like cutting and stripping wire, so I was like, I got this, and I just cut it to the length I actually needed it, and it was too. And I messed up on stripping, and then I kind of had to figure out how to fix it. So now I'm like, measure, and then do what you need to it, because you can always take more off, but you can't put more back on. So So this is the first time I have ever dealt with electrical before, so this is all new for me. I find it really neat to learn. I think it's so cool that you can figure out how electricity works and set it all up so it'll run properly. Okay. I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna wrap it with some electrical tape. So that will now connect here. So Renogy gives you a few different cords. I was able to use, they had a double-ended positive cord, so I was able to use that one here, and then I had to cut the other double end of it. I cut it in half. So then one side went here, the other one I stripped and put into the charge controller. and then I took that other side and I attached it here to the positive side of my bus bar, and then I had to make the double end for that side. And so then they also have this negative cord. It's got an end down here, and then it's only a one-sided cord. So I'm going to use this one to make a cord to attach to my negative side of the fuse box here. And it kind of just takes some like figuring out. I switched these cords around a few times just to figure out what would fit the best, you know, which bolt it would fit on the best here to fit here. Wires don't always want to do what you want them to do. I think that worked pretty good. I'm gonna wrap it again. I'm gonna put this cover back on, and we're gonna call that done for now. So I laid out my solar panels. I have to attach these little brackets to all of them. I'm gonna make sure they're good and tight on there. These brackets will keep the solar panels from resting directly on top of the trailer, so with any like bumps and movement, it's gonna lessen the probability of them like cracking. And it also, because it's gonna give like a little layer of air in between the solar panel and my roof, it'll actually act as like a cooling kind of like shade for the roof as well, which is pretty cool. So I went with Renogy for my solar system. I've heard really good things about the company. Their customer service has really good reviews. They make everything really easy to understand. They have diagrams, videos. Their system of like hooking everything up is really simple. So I think I'm gonna be happy with this, and I can always add to it, and yeah, I think it'll work out well for me. These are good and snug. I got all my solar panels up onto the roof. Got all the supplies I need. Those are the wires that connect them. I'm gonna have to send those down through the roof to where my electrical setup is. So now I just have to figure out the placement of where I want my solar panels to be. I figured out the placement for the solar panels. It's a little bit different than I originally thought. That's just because the cords here, I can only go so far. So this is the placement I figured out would work the best. I figured the chimney would probably be right about here if I put that wood stove in. So I should still have enough space between them. The cords are pretty easy to stick together. There's a male and female end, and you just snap them together. So they're pretty weather tight there. They're marked with positive and negative. I'm connecting mine in series. You can also connect them in parallel, I guess. I don't quite understand that. I think they kind of, you like connect them across from each other for parallel. I have mine connected in series, so basically it's just like one big circle. So they're all connected in one big circle, and then they're gonna run down through my roof right over there. They give you this fuse, so you connect this fuse right here in the middle between the wire going through your roof and through your panel here. They don't give you this with the kit. It's like a little housing unit that I'm gonna run my wires through. There's a few more parts to it, and it just makes it more like watertight. So I'm gonna drill my hole in the roof here, and the wires are gonna run through this, and then I'm gonna glue this down to my roof. And so hopefully that'll kind of keep as much water and dirt and everything out as possible. Some people use this heavy duty mounting tape. It just is gonna give like extra hold when I bolt the solar panels down to the roof. I'm gonna put this heavy duty tape on underneath there just so it gives it a little bit more to grab onto on the roof. All right, I guess I'm gonna flip it over here. Put all the tape on, peel it off, and then try and put it where I want it. Right around here. And that tape might have just made the decision for me. I think I'm gonna go ahead and just do that to all the panels first. Before I screw my panels into the roof, I've decided that I'm going to drill my hole to where the wires are going to go through, and I'll test my system just to make sure that it is indeed working the way I have it before I bolt everything down. I got the hole drilled out and cleaned up to the size that I wanted it, and then I took a rubber grommet and I cut that down so it would fit the size of my hole here. So now I'm gonna run my wires through this little housing unit. How all the wires want to go. Okay, got this guy. Feed some of this through. So now I'm gonna go down into my trailer and hook those up just to make sure that the whole system is working before I attach the solar panels to my roof. So it turned into a sun, which means that I'm getting power from my solar panels. Now that I know that my system works up here the way I have it all hooked up, I can put the panels on the roof and get them screwed down. The kits come with these self-tapping screws. And so I'm just gonna drill them through the roof. I got all the wires fed down through here, all the extra wire. I'm gonna leave a little bit of play in them just so I have some room to mess with it if I need to. And then I'm gonna go ahead and put some liquid nails around the grommet there to hold it in place. So this should keep all of the water and everything out of it. Right, go. Stick it on there. Alright. There is the finished solar panels attached to the roof. Got the ends of my wires here now, so those are wired into my charge controller. So the last thing I have to do is take the wires that are going from the solar panels and put them into my breaker. And then once we get those two in the breaker, I'm gonna flip this up and hopefully everything will be working. All right. So the breaker is off. So reconnect these. And then we're gonna put this guy in here. Okay, so everything should be connected and the way it's supposed to be. So when I flip this switch up, it should show me that I'm getting power to here. Ready? I'm nervous. Ah, it works! Look, it has a little sun right there. It means the power is coming in from the roof. And it goes down through this here breaker box into my charge controller, to the bus bars, to the battery, and to the fuse box. So everything is working. So here's the finished setup. I went ahead and put that cover on the breaker box. Everything's working the way it should be. I can leave it on so that my battery fully charges, just so it's fully charged if I want it to. But since I don't have anything running off the system yet, I don't want to leave it on, so I'll probably just flip that breaker down and stop the energy from going into the battery until I can get some lights and everything working in here. But it's so cool. I'm so glad it works. What I need is a stinking wrench. A little wrenchy guy, but I can't find the 10mm wrench.